So the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, Jim Himes of Connecticut, becoming the 17th Democratic lawmaker, calling on Biden to step aside just moments after this showing at last night's high-stakes big boy press conference.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. Look, folks, this is, well, anyway, we created over 800,000 manufacturing jobs, 1.5 million jobs. I mean, so things are moving. I love my staff, but they add things all the time.
Still can't believe he threw the staff under the bus. Joining us now, Fox News contributor Ben Domenech. Ben, it was a typical Joe Biden press conference. Did he meet the moment?
Good morning, Lawrence. Look, I think that the bar is so low for Joe Biden that you could say that he met that bar. But after this debate, I mean, frankly, if he didn't fall over on his face, I think that you would have his supporters claiming that he cleared the bar. This was not any kind of game-changing moment for him. He rambled through this press conference. He made numerous mistakes. By the way, I thought the most telling comment was his comment about how his staff talks a lot, which seemed to be directed at the fact that there's been so many leaks coming out of this White House over the past several weeks now that really are people telling all the things that we should have known a long time ago about the way that he has approached this job. And look, going forward, I think what you're going to see is not really a major change. This press conference was built up, but it's not going to reassure any of the Democrats who are out there that Joe Biden can carry them to victory in the fall. And in fact, I think you're going to see a number of swing state Democrats over the coming days come out and express their own, concerns about him going forward. Whether they can do anything about it in the limited time that awaits, that's up to them. If they have the will, they can, but they may not have the will.
So, Ben, they could have dealt with this if the media would have been transparent with the reporting so, voters can make a decision, even the elected officials can make a decision. We're learning from ABC News, a report that at the Juneteenth concert, that a lot of the people that attended it they were all concerned about his behavior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that what we've seen, though, is that the White House and the media were really working hand in glove to keep people away from him. There was this attitude towards Joe that, like, oh yes, he's old, he's got different limitations, but we're going to treat him as if we're going to treat Grandpa or something like that until he falls over on his face again, until he is making inappropriate comments in public. We're not going to really deal with the problem that's right in front of our faces. And so I don't have any sympathy for the media in this case. I heard Chuck Todd the other day talking about, I'm rethinking the way that I've thought about Joe Biden for years. But he's been the same Joe Biden for years. He's been there for 50 years, Chuck. He's not any different. He's still a guy who is extremely ambitious, power hungry, and surrounded by an insular group of people in his family who are going to prevent him from leaving that White House where they are all living and where they all want to keep him in power, regardless of whether that's good for the nation or not.
Yeah, that's the same Chuck Todd that had a cabinet member tell him that he was concerned about Biden and didn't report it for over 2 years.
Didn't report it.
Exactly. Speaking of the media, Ben, Wisconsin, a radio host in a station there, admits to editing a Biden interview. And this is what they said in the statement. The Biden campaign called and asked for 2 edits to the recordings before it aired, given the gravity of the current political moment, the stakes in this election, and the importance of public scrutiny of public officials in the highest office. We believe it is important to share this information. I mean, they just keep punching. But we're just now learning about this. Do you think it would be acceptable to edit a Trump interview?
Look, I'm not against, having, sometimes you have to have pre-taped interviews, but my question is, does Joe Biden do any interviews that aren't pre-taped?
Right.
So that they can circle back and say, edit this part out, we don't want the country to see this. Because again, he's going to do another he just did a pre-taped interview with George Stephanopoulos. He's going to do another pre-taped interview on Monday. Is he going to do any of these things live? He needs to, in order for us to have any confidence in the questions and answers being what they actually were.
I'm just telling you, as someone that does interviews with the former president all the time, there wouldn't have even been a suggestion from the campaign for me to edit the interview because we just aren't going to do it. It's just not happening. What we tape is what we tape, and what we decide to air is what we decide to air. Ben, thanks so much for joining the program.
Great to be with you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.